Howdy guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at a practical example of how to actually go through the whole printing process if you are printing the report yourself. And this will be for FabriCAM, just so you guys know. But otherwise, before that, let's have a quick intro first. Today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za. We make short and easy to watch problem solving videos, and we also have daily updates. Otherwise, we're back into the program here. Now, like I mentioned, this is going to be a practical on actual printing yourself or printing the report yourself, and just the kind of process we're going to be taking. Now, we've covered all the features for the printing, so this will be kind of just running through the most key ones that you'll be actually using or most likely using. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I want to make sure I open my project. So I'm going to go open file, because it doesn't help us printing nothing. Select the right project, say select, and then have it opened. Now, after it's open and you make sure all your stuff's aligned and ready, you can go to print, click on the big print button here on our primary toolbar. I'm going to fill in just the number, the actual client, so am.co.za. and then the description, which is sample description. Then once that is done, I'm going to say OK, and then it will load our actual printing dialog or printing report. Now over here, it's a good practice, instead of just hitting print, double check everything so you don't have to print twice, or perhaps give the client the thing and afterwards you find out, oh no, there's problems, and then it just creates another slip where you have to now go back and forth and explain why. So first of all, this one is relevant, you can look at it, but in general, if something's missing here, you'll quickly notice. So what I'll do then, I'll just run through all this information, make sure this is right. I won't worry too much about the file name, but the material thickness, area used, client information, all of that, I want to make sure that is fine. And then if you want, you can go through these ones, especially if, let's say, you're going to be actually sending it to a cutter or something like that to another client. Then it's very important to make sure these ones are correct. But otherwise, most of the times for a client, just make sure this is fine, and then you should be good to go. Then next up, what we want to do is we want to hit the actual print button. So print report, I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see it. We're going to click that little printer and then wait for it to load. Now once it's load, the basic steps you want to do is make sure you select the right printer from here. I'm just going to say print to PDF, but you will select your printer here. You can make sure on the preferences it is on the landscape or portrait if you need to change it, but I'm going to leave mine by default. And we can see the status is ready. Then what I want to do is you want to select next page range. I'm going to leave mine at all, unless you want to only print maybe the cover for the client, but otherwise a good idea is just keep it at all. Then the last step, which is sometimes important, and that is the number of copies. I'm going to say 2, so I know that I'm getting a copy and I'm giving one to my client. So afterwards I can use it as a reference in case he asks if he can keep it. Like let's say I'm just demoing it, and then after he asks if he can keep a copy, then I know I at least have 2. And I'm going to leave collate or collate or whatever how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. It's very collate. But I'm going to leave that on so that it's easy for me afterwards if I had to staple them or anything like that. And then once you're done with that, you simply just go print, and then the actual printer should be starting up and running through the whole process of printing the document. Then obviously double check your actual document that's been printed to make sure it is accurate, that nothing got missed out or the ink is not maybe struggling. Then yeah, that's pretty much it. There is obviously the extra step you can take if you want to make it black and white, which we cover in the previous video, but sometimes color looks nice so you can see the different shapes. But yeah, otherwise that is it on our first practical. It's a pretty simple process. A lot of things we won't be covering or using in our practicals because that is just more advanced user things. But yeah, otherwise in the meanwhile, before we head to the next practical, let's look at softwaretraining.co.za. That is where you can find this video and more like it. We also have different softwares we do cover. You also have this nice little search button or icon, so you can isolate your search if you're looking for anything specific. And we also have the request a training video. So in case you don't find the video you're looking for, just simply go here, request a training video, fill in the menu form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.